In 2026, the internet looks very different from what most people expected just a few years ago. Browsers are no longer just simple tools used to open websites. Today, browsers have become powerful platforms that collect data, track behavior, integrate artificial intelligence, connect with cloud systems, and sometimes even monitor everything users do online. Most people still think of a browser as a harmless app sitting on their desktop or smartphone. But behind the scenes, modern browsers are now deeply connected to advertising companies, AI systems, online identity services, and massive data collection networks. This is exactly why choosing the wrong browser in 2026 can seriously affect your privacy, security, performance, and even your freedom online. A lot of users still install a browser because it looks popular or because it comes pre-installed with their operating system. They never stop to ask important questions. What data does this browser collect? Where is that data going? Is the browser respecting user privacy? Is it designed for speed or for advertising profits? Is artificial intelligence helping the user, or is it simply gathering more information for corporations? These are the questions people must start asking in 2026 because the browser wars are no longer just about speed and design. They are now about control. One of the biggest problems today is the rise of aggressive data tracking inside mainstream browsers. Many companies claim they care about privacy while silently collecting browsing history, search habits, location information, voice input, shopping interests, and AI interaction patterns. In older times, users worried about cookies alone. Now browsers can fingerprint entire systems. They can identify your device without cookies, monitor how you type, analyze mouse movement patterns, and even study how long you stay on certain pages. Artificial intelligence features built directly into browsers have made this situation even more complicated because users are now sharing more personal information with browser-integrated AI assistants than ever before. Some browsers in 2026 are also becoming dangerously dependent on cloud connectivity. Certain features stop working properly if you are not logged into an account. Others push users into syncing passwords, browsing history, bookmarks, contacts, payment information, and AI conversations to company servers. While this sounds convenient, it also creates a massive privacy risk. A single account breach can expose years of browsing behavior and personal activity. Most people do not realize how much information their browser stores about them until it is too late. Another major issue is the growing influence of advertising companies over browser development. Many browsers are no longer designed primarily for users. They are designed to maximize engagement, advertising revenue, and AI data collection. This changes the entire philosophy of the web browser itself. Instead of being a neutral tool, the browser becomes an active participant in tracking and monetizing user behavior. Some browsers even experiment with replacing traditional websites using AI-generated summaries that keep users inside the browser ecosystem instead of visiting original websites. This creates ethical concerns for content creators and also gives browser companies even more power over how information is consumed online. One browser category people should be very careful about in 2026 is heavily commercialized Chromium-based browsers that prioritize ecosystem lock-in over user freedom. Chromium itself is not automatically bad because it powers many modern browsers, but the problem is how some companies use it. Certain browsers are now filled with built-in promotions, shopping recommendations, sponsored search results, AI assistance, cryptocurrency integrations, and background telemetry systems. Users may think they are getting a free browser, but in reality, they are paying with their data. Many users are shocked when they discover how much information their browser transmits in the background. Some browsers continuously contact company servers even when users are not actively browsing. Telemetry systems collect diagnostic information, usage patterns, crash reports, extension behavior, device information, and more. While companies argue this helps improve performance, critics warn that users are losing control over their digital lives. In some cases, disabling telemetry completely is nearly impossible without advanced modifications. Artificial intelligence integration has become another controversial feature in 2026 browsers. AI tools can summarize articles, answer questions, rewrite emails, generate content, and automate browsing tasks. While this sounds useful, it introduces new risks. Every interaction with an AI assistant can potentially be stored, analyzed, and linked to a user profile. Some AI systems require constant cloud communication, meaning sensitive information may leave the user's device regularly. If users are discussing private topics, financial information, business projects, or personal messages through AI browser tools, that data could potentially be processed externally. Security is another reason why users need to rethink their browser choices. Cyber attacks in 2026 are far more advanced than before. Attackers target browser vulnerabilities because browsers have access to passwords, accounts, financial services, and communication platforms. Browsers overloaded with unnecessary features create larger attack surfaces for hackers. Every additional integration, extension system, AI module, and synchronization feature increases complexity and potential security weaknesses. Some browsers also delay critical security updates or fail to respond quickly to zero-day vulnerabilities. A browser may look modern and attractive, but if its security team is slow or unreliable, users become exposed to serious risks. This is especially dangerous for people who manage sensitive information, online banking, cryptocurrency wallets, or business accounts. Free VPN browsers have also become extremely controversial. Many browsers now advertise built-in VPN services as privacy solutions, but not all VPN integrations are trustworthy. Some free browser VPNs simply reroute traffic through company-controlled servers while still collecting user activity. Others may slow connections, inject advertisements, or limit encryption standards. Users should understand that free privacy often comes with hidden trade-offs. Another browser type users should avoid in 2026 is unknown browsers developed by suspicious companies with poor transparency. Many people download lightweight or super-fast browsers without researching who created them. Some obscure browsers contain aggressive tracking systems, bundled software, hidden cryptocurrency miners, or questionable permissions. In certain cases, users have discovered browsers secretly collecting browsing history or injecting advertisements into web pages. The extension ecosystem also plays a massive role in browser safety today. Even a secure browser can become dangerous if users install malicious extensions. Browser extensions can access browsing data, passwords, clipboard information, tabs, and online activity. In recent years, many popular extensions were caught selling user data or being purchased by unknown companies after gaining millions of users. This means people must not only choose the right browser, but also carefully manage which extensions they trust. One growing concern in 2026 is browser monopolization. Because so many browsers now rely on Chromium, a single engine dominates the web. Critics warn this gives too much power to a small number of corporations influencing web standards, advertising systems, and browser technologies. If one company controls the direction of the browser engine used by most people, the open web itself could slowly lose diversity and independence. This is why many privacy advocates encourage users to support alternative browser engines that keep competition alive. Battery consumption and system resource usage have also become serious issues. Modern browsers are extremely heavy compared to older generations. Some browsers consume enormous amounts of RAM and CPU power due to AI processing, background synchronization, animations, and cloud integrations. On lower-end systems, this can dramatically reduce performance and battery life. Users often blame their computers for slowing down when the browser itself is the real problem. Mobile browsers deserve special attention too. Smartphones now store personal conversations, banking apps, authentication codes, and private media. A poorly designed mobile browser can expose users to phishing attacks, malicious redirects, hidden trackers, and invasive permissions. Some mobile browsers request excessive access to device features unrelated to browsing. Users should always question why a browser needs access to contacts, microphone data, or precise location tracking. Another dangerous trend in 2026 is browser-based advertising personalization powered by AI. Browsers can now analyze shopping behavior, browsing habits, and emotional engagement patterns to deliver highly targeted advertising. Some systems are so advanced they can predict user interests before users even search for products directly. This level of profiling raises serious ethical questions about digital manipulation and consumer privacy. There is also growing concern about browser censorship and content filtering. Certain browsers increasingly integrate automated moderation systems, AI content analysis, or government compliance tools. While some features are intended to block malicious websites, critics fear that browser companies may gain excessive control over which information users can access. The browser has become a gatekeeper of information, and that creates enormous responsibility. Users should also be careful with browsers deeply integrated into operating systems. While integration can improve convenience, it may also create lock-in ecosystems that make switching difficult. Some browsers aggressively push users toward company services, including search engines, cloud storage, email platforms, and AI subscriptions. Over time, users become trapped inside a single ecosystem where every action generates more data for the same corporation. Many people ignore privacy-focused browsers because they assume privacy tools are complicated or slow. But in 2026, several privacy-respecting browsers offer excellent performance while minimizing tracking and telemetry. The challenge is that mainstream advertising often overshadows these alternatives. Large corporations dominate browser marketing, making smaller privacy-focused projects harder for average users to discover. Open-source transparency has become increasingly important. When a browser is open source, independent developers and security researchers can inspect the code for vulnerabilities, tracking systems, or suspicious behavior. Closed-source browsers require users to trust companies blindly. While open source is not a guarantee of safety, transparency allows greater accountability and community oversight. Users should also understand the importance of default settings. Many browsers advertise privacy features while shipping with invasive defaults enabled automatically. Most users never change these settings. This means millions of people continue using browsers with extensive tracking because the configuration process is intentionally confusing. A truly user-friendly browser should respect privacy from the beginning rather than forcing users to disable dozens of options manually. Search engine partnerships are another hidden factor affecting browsers. Some browsers earn massive revenue through search deals and advertising agreements. This financial relationship can influence browser design decisions. Features that improve advertising profitability may receive more attention than features protecting user privacy. Understanding how browser companies make money helps users understand their real priorities. The rise of AI-generated phishing attacks makes browser security even more critical today. Malicious websites are becoming harder to identify because attackers use artificial intelligence to create realistic login pages, emails, and fake support systems. Browsers with poor phishing protection or outdated security features expose users to serious threats. Security is no longer optional in 2026. It is essential. Many experts now recommend using layered protection instead of relying entirely on one browser. This may include privacy-focused search engines, trusted password managers, tracker blockers, DNS protection, and careful extension management. A browser alone cannot solve every security problem, but choosing the wrong browser can create many new ones. Some users are also returning to minimalist browsers that remove unnecessary features entirely. These lightweight browsers focus on speed, simplicity, and reduced attack surfaces. While they may lack flashy AI integrations or advanced cloud services, they often provide a cleaner and safer browsing experience. In many cases, less complexity means better reliability. Education is one of the most important solutions to modern browser problems. Most people simply do not understand how browsers work. They assume that if a browser is popular, it must automatically be safe. But popularity does not equal privacy. In fact, some of the most widely used browsers collect the largest amounts of user data because they operate enormous advertising ecosystems. Governments around the world are also paying more attention to browser privacy and competition issues. Antitrust investigations, data protection laws, and digital market regulations are shaping the future of browsers. However, legal systems move slowly compared to technology. Users cannot depend entirely on governments to protect their digital rights. Personal awareness remains extremely important. Students, professionals, creators, and businesses all face different browser risks. A casual user may worry mainly about tracking and advertisements, while a journalist or activist may face surveillance risks. Businesses must consider data leaks, credential theft, and compliance requirements. Choosing a browser should depend on personal needs rather than marketing hype alone. Parents should also pay attention to the browsers their children use. Young users are especially vulnerable to aggressive advertising, manipulative content algorithms, and privacy exploitation. Educational conversations about online safety should now include browser awareness, because browsers are the main gateway to the internet. The future of browsers may become even more controversial as AI evolves further. Some companies are already experimenting with fully AI-driven browsing experiences where assistants perform actions automatically on behalf of users. This could include shopping, booking services, reading emails, managing schedules, and interacting with websites independently. While automation sounds convenient, it raises massive concerns about trust, data control, and security permissions. Users must understand that convenience often comes at the cost of privacy. The easiest browser to use is not always the safest one. A browser packed with AI assistance, cloud syncing, automatic recommendations, and personalized features may also be collecting enormous amounts of information in the background. Every feature has a trade-off. In 2026, browser choice is no longer a small technical decision. It is a digital lifestyle decision. The browser determines how much privacy users keep, how much control corporations gain, how secure online activity remains, and how independent the open web can stay in the future. This does not mean users should panic or stop using the internet entirely. Instead, it means people should become more informed and intentional. Research browsers before installing them, read privacy policies carefully, disable unnecessary telemetry, limit risky extensions, update browsers regularly, use strong passwords and two-factor authentication, avoid downloading unknown browser applications from untrusted websites. The internet itself is changing rapidly, and browsers are at the center of that transformation. Companies are fighting for user attention, data, AI dominance, and ecosystem control. Unfortunately, average users are often caught in the middle without realizing what is happening behind the scenes. The most dangerous browsers in 2026 are not necessarily the slowest or ugliest ones. The real danger comes from browsers that quietly normalize surveillance, excessive data collection, manipulative advertising systems, weak transparency, and ecosystem lock-in while presenting themselves as friendly and convenient tools. Technology should empower users, not exploit them. A browser should help people access information freely and securely without turning every click into a monetized data point. As more people begin understanding how browsers really work in 2026, the conversation around digital privacy and online freedom will only become more important. The browser you choose today shapes your entire online experience tomorrow. That is why people need to stop blindly trusting every browser they see trending online. Some browsers are evolving into massive data collection machines disguised as productivity tools. Others are genuinely trying to protect user freedom and privacy. The difference between those two paths will define the future of the internet itself.